Howard Tanner is the man credited with creating Michigan's salmon industry. 55 years ago, he took a chance and introduced an invasive species to Michigan, the coho salmon. 9 and 10's Eric Lloyd found out how it spawned Michigan's sport fishing industry.
Once people experience it, it's not like catching a perch or a bass or something small. These fish actually pull you around, so it's pretty exciting, and a lot of people, they enjoy it a lot.
Michigan is a world-class salmon fishery. It seems like it's always been that way.
There's a king.
But up until 55 years ago, the Great Lakes did not even have salmon. Howard Tanner, the former head of the DNR fisheries program, introduced the sport fish and revolutionized the industry.
I observed the introduction of coho into Colorado. It was not successful. They survived, but there really wasn't a good food base for them, so they never grew very much.
Tanner graduated from Michigan State University and then went out west to work, and that's where he saw the failed attempts in the Rockies. But after returning home to Michigan, DNR Director Ralph McMullen demanded he make a splash with the fishery division.
I want you to do something, and if you can, make it spectacular.
The reason salmon didn't stick out west were not issues here in Michigan. Michigan had everything needed for the coho to thrive, at least on paper.
It was like 2 + 2 is 4. I mean, there was the largest supply of fresh water in the world, a huge food supply, and now we had a predator and a very popular sport fish that was surplus on the West Coast.
He got the go-ahead from the state and dropped 250,000 eggs from out west in certain locations, including the Platte River and Bear Creek. There was political and environmentalist backlash, but the first great sign is when salmon experts came to check in on the process.
All they could say was, we've never seen so much water, and get ready, you're going to have something big.
It took 2 years before the salmon were big enough to head to the big lake. And then when they did, anglers were waiting in record numbers.
Thousands of boats and no place to park them.
These are photos from that first weekend in Platte Bay, this scene repeating itself all along the Lake Michigan shoreline.
You couldn't rent a room within 50 miles of Manistee, and you ran out of gasoline. The gasoline station shut down. There wasn't any gasoline. And then when they ran out of beer, it was really a big problem.
Instantly, the sport was changed forever.
There, you got him. That's a lonker.
To catch a salmon was a trip to Alaska, or at least to Oregon or Washington. And if you caught a 6-pound largemouth or a 10-pound muskie or something, you were on the Morton F. TV show.
Now, 55 years later, it's a $10 billion a year industry. It's not unusual to catch 20 to 30 and potentially 40-pound fish.
Well, there's nowhere else in the United States that you're allowed that many fish.
Captain Lance Keene has spent his entire life fishing Lake Michigan and the rivers that feed it.
You wouldn't have, this amount of people coming up here to this location if we didn't have this fishing industry. I mean, there's not much else to do here if you're not a hunter or a fisherman.
And once the coho survived, King and Atlantic salmon were quick to follow. And now Michigan is a salmon fishing destination. The future is bright, and Tanner is happy to sit back and watch his life's work grow.
I'm very optimistic. It's going to be a damn good fishery. What comes after that, I have no idea. But it's exciting because it's never stationary.
In Manistee County, Eric Lloyd, 9 and 10 News.
The hook and hunting buck of the week comes to us from the Traverse City area, and check it out. This is an 8-point that Brad Geiger says he took down with his crossbow. If you want your picture featured on the buck of the week, upload your picture to our virtual butt poll. You can find that under the community tab on 9and10news.com.